Okay, third graders, today is something that's going to be a little bit different. We know about notes and rests and symbols, but we've never learned how to draw them. And this is usually one of a third grade's favorite lessons to do, but we're going to have to do it a little differently since we're not all together using our iPads. So you can use a dry erase board if you have one. You could use paper and pencil. You all have your iPads, and Mrs. Maston and Brown's class, they suggested go and get your iPads and use your Explain Everything app, and that gives you a whiteboard. Or Mrs. McShane's or Longcore's class, use your notes and get out a fresh thinking sheet. That's how their class refers to that. So pause this video for just a moment, go get those items, and I'll wait. Okay, we are back. We're going to start with a staff. We know that a staff is 5 lines and 4 spaces in between. So draw a staff. Now I'm not going to wait on this video for you to do these things. You can hit pause anytime I ask you to do something so you have more time to do it, and then you can go hit play or even go back if you are unsure. That's kind of the cool thing of doing this on a video. So we're going to talk about how to draw notes. We know that a note has a circle. So we're going to start with a circle on a line where the line goes through it. So I'm going to put half a circle above and half a circle below. Notice I am not doing it like that. Okay, not too big. So I would like you to draw 3 or 4 notes that look like that. If you put it on a space or a line. If it's a space, should it be crossing anything else? No. Okay, so go ahead and do 3 or 4 whole notes with lines and spaces. After that, we are going to draw a stem. Okay, turn them into half notes. Well, this middle line is very important. If you could put an arrow on your middle line, that would be great. That middle line tells us which way to put our stems. If the note is, and I didn't really do one, so let me add one. If the note is above that middle line, please take your stem and draw it down on the left. Okay? If your notes are below the middle line, please draw your stem up on the right. And if your note is on the middle line, it's your choice. It could go down on the left or up on the right. After you have drawn those stems, now we're going to turn the half notes into quarter notes by simply coloring them in. And I'm not going to be as neat as I could because you don't want to sit there watching me do this. But turn your half notes into quarter notes. So we started with whole notes, just circles. Then we added stems by paying attention to the middle line to make them half notes, to beat notes. Then now we colored them in to make them quarter notes. So either somehow tap and clear your board or get a new sheet or however you do it, but clear it and draw a fresh staff. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. What we left off was double eighth notes. Double, those TTs, those fast ones. Start with a circle. And then another one on the exact same spot right next to it. If you need to, put that arrow back on the middle line. These are below the middle line. So I'm going to draw the stem up on the right. Okay. Now I'm going to bridge them together. See how they're looking like double eighth notes? And lastly, color them in to make our double eighth notes or our very fast T's. How do we do those if the stems go down? I chose a space before. I'm going to choose a line this time. Again, we're going to start with our whole note circles right next to each other. They're above the middle line. So the stems are going to go down on the left. Notice I didn't do a tiny little wimpy stem like that. I crossed at least 2 lines. Then I'm going to make that bridge. And lastly, color them in. Do they have to be on the same line or space of each other? They do not. So let's try one down here. We're going to put one on the bottom line, one on the bottom space. I know I'm going to run into these a little bit, but that's okay. They are below the middle line, so again, the stems are going to go up. It's going to cross that today, but that's okay. Now, I'm going to draw a bridge, and you notice there's a little bit of an angle to it. That's okay. And then color them in. Double eighth notes do not have to be on the same line or space. If you choose one that's above the line and middle line and one that's below, just make sure your stems go the same direction for both. There we have it. So go ahead and clear. And we are going to do the rests. Rests are a little bit easier than our notes. So get a new piece of paper or a new page and start again with the 5-line staff. Okay, that middle line is still important because there are some rules for the middle line. So we're going to start off with our hats. Remember how we talked about how if the eggs are in the hat, they stay whole. If they're falling out, they are half, whole and half. So we're going to take 4 dashes and put those 4 dashes right on the middle line, just like that. We are going to turn 2 of them into whole rests, holding the eggs, and 2 into half rests, dumping the eggs. Here's my whole rest, making the box or hat below it. Notice I didn't go way down here. Notice I didn't touch the line. I just went underneath enough to make a hat. And I will tell you, it is hard to draw from the side. It's not easy to see. So they might not be perfect today. Then I'm going to draw above and above. Again, not touching the line up here. And then color them in. Okay, so I made 2 whole rests, whole as if the eggs were keeping whole, and 2 half rests. If the eggs fell out, they would break in half. The last thing we're going to do, and I'm going to cheat a little bit and just erase this side, is we're going to do our quarter rests. Now the quarter rests are kind of hard to draw if you don't give them form, a style. They kind of look like a lightning bolt. You kind of just see that zigzaggy line. So again, we pay attention to the middle line, and this is how I teach my kids to draw them. In the space above the middle line, draw a Z. Okay? Right where you ended your Z, then you're going to put a C. So when you start in the space above the middle line with a Z, C. A Z, C. And I could squeeze one in over here. A Z, C. Our quarter rests.